I'm Ian and welcome to the third and final video where today I'm going to be breaking down how I create some of my favourite synth lines on my new track Tempered featuring Maram, which is out now on the games we play. Let's get into it. The synth itself is very simple. It's just one oscillator. We've got the square wave right here and we've then got a low pass filter, and if we have a little look at this envelope, it's just slightly opening up that cutoff and then closing it again. The next thing that I have on there is the dimension expander. This is great to add some kind of spacey width to it. Let's listen to it with and without. Here we go without. That sounds all right. And then with, just adds a little bit extra to it. The other really useful thing that I like to do as well is use the unison tool. Now, unison is essential for getting that extra wide stereo spread up there. You're going to come over to the voicing tab, and you'll see on here this unison section. Now, if I put this down to just one, it's a nice sound, but it's not what I'm looking for. Let's move this up to 3. Yeah, there we go. That's got that beautiful wide stereo spread that's absolutely synonymous with the grime square wave sound. I'm also making sure to keep this in mono, really useful because I have some parts where it kind of glides around. I don't want to be able to play multiple notes at once. If I did, I'll put that in polyphonic, but for this one, I want it in monophonic. The final trick to this sound is the post-processing of the audio. Now, post-processing is when you add additional effects as well as the ones that are built into the synth, and that's where it all really starts to come alive and create your own unique sound. The first thing I have on there is reverb as a direct insert. As I said in one of my previous videos, it's totally fine to put reverb as a direct insert in there. It used to be used a lot previously on return tracks, issues with processing power, so you could use one reverb and have many channels going to it. Also, it does keep the sound a little bit cleaner, but for this one, I want a slightly more washed out sound. It's working very gently on there. It's just got 23% of the wet dry, and the decay time is really small, under a second. Let's listen to that with and without. And let's listen to that with. Again, very subtle. So another tip that I've got is the use of 2 saturations in a row. Now, some of you might be saying, what's the point of this? Why don't I just have one saturation and turn it up a little bit more? Well, you can try that, but I just feel it gives a slight little difference in the sonic quality of it. That's a great top tip that I picked up from my friend Careful. We're gonna have a little listen to that now. Firstly, without. Let's place 1 on there. Now let's place 2 on there. There we go. Let's try it out now. We'll just have 1 on there and we'll just crank it up a little bit. Some might say the changes are very insignificant on there, but to me, it's just that slight difference that's just working nicely. And the final effect I have on this track is a delay, but this time on the return track. This one I don't want as a direct insert. I want to have the original sound coming through, and then I want to have that delayed out afterwards. So let's have a little listen to it again with and without. And then without. And let's listen to it in the track and out the track. Kind of a little bit boring, it feels a little bit flat. Then when I re-enable my automation, there we go, that's sounding nice to me. Then also, we've got this second synth line here. Sounds a little bit different because it's played an octave down, and it's got the return track reduced right down on there. I don't want it muddying up and playing around with too much of the rest of the audio. And then I bring that automation, bring it up for those transitional changes. It's going to let the listener know that a change is about to happen. Let's have a check. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. Also, when I'm writing my melodies, I like to use something that we call call and response. And this is taken from actually how birds sing out in nature. So we have one bird, we'll have the call, and then we'll have another bird that will have the response. And I use a similar thing on my melodies. Let's have a quick little listen to see how that sounds. There's my call. There's my response. And then I'll do a call and response of that first call and response. So from this section here over to this section over here. There we go. And that's a really useful way to be able to build up your melodies, and so they're not just stagnant and repeating all the way through. Use the call, then use the response. This next synth line that I want to show you is the all-important bass line. This one's taken from Folo's preset pack. This guy is an absolute don at bass lines, so it's only right that I put one in there. As you can see, I've kept it fairly simple to the original. All it is just taking that low pass filter and changing it into a band reject instead, which gives it a lot of extra grit and dirt. It was originally taken from the H2O track, and it was a brilliant tune. Absolutely love that tune. I wanted to use it, but in a slightly different way to what Folo had used it originally. So let's have a listen to it. And as we can see here, automation, that's my friend. It's coming up here. You're going to hear that grit come in as it slowly opens the filter up. Bush. Yeah, I'm liking that. Okay, let's check out how it sounds in context with the rest of the tune. Powerful, that's mighty powerful. So I've spoken about post-processing already with the use of the auto filter, but the next step that I want to do is using what we call a mid-side EQ, or the mono and the stereo field. What I want to do for the low end, I want to keep the mono in, but I want to remove that stereo. So let's check out what I'm doing on here. As we can see, we've got the stereo mode like so, and you come over to the mode here and you switch it over onto the mid side. On here, this is where we're working out. We've removed all that low end from the stereo field, and then in the mono field, which I just changed by clicking this button here, I'm keeping that low end in. I'm just giving it a tiny little boost up there as well. Then in the high end, I'm removing that there, and I'm also removing the high end frequencies in both the stereo field too. Let's listen to that in solo without that EQ on and see how it sounds. You can, if you're listening on headphones and you're listening on stereo speakers, you can hear that moving around quite a lot. Now when I put that on, still got that little bit of movement to it, but nowhere near as much in that low frequency field. Okay, the final synth line that I want to take you through today is another Folo preset. This one's absolutely fantastic. This one here, let's check it out, is the Ice Cold Nova. Now, originally, this one was placed up by 7 semitones. Let's listen to how it was before. It's still got that really nice Arabic vibe to it, but it's not quite what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna solo this for you. It's a very cool synth. Folo makes some really unique sounding patches. It's only right that I'm using them. Let's bring this down though to the 0 semitones. It's a lot more subtle now on there. And it just sits very nicely in the background there, adds a little extra flavour. It also comes in here as well. I also have it in my intro too. Just there, quietly playing around in the background, just adding a little bit extra to it. Okay, that's everything for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you like that, please make sure to go like the tune, add it to one of your favourite playlists. It's out on Spotify, it's out on Apple Music, it's out on SoundCloud, and it'll be out on Bandcamp real soon. It's Eone featuring Maram. The track's called Tempered, and it's out via the games we play. Nice one. Thanks for tuning in, and peace out.
You got to keep the